All right, Emma. So last time we kind of set the stage for this whole affiliate alchemy journey, right? Talking about finding that edge. Now, for episode 2, I really want us to dive into something that honestly, it's overlooked by, well, by pretty much everyone starting out and even some seasoned pros, you know? It's about mindset, the foundational mindset shifts before we even touch on a single tactic. Because the thing is, if your head isn't in the right place, all the strategies in the world, they just won't stick. They won't work long term. It's like building a skyscraper on sand, really. Just won't hold up.
Oh, for sure, James. I totally get that. It's like building a house without a proper foundation, right? It'll crumple eventually. You see all these people like chasing the latest SEO trick or the newest social media algorithm hack, and then they wonder why it doesn't pan out. But, when people think mindset in affiliate marketing, they often think like positive thinking or something really vague like that. What are we really talking about here? What's the big mindset shift that you think is most crucial for our listeners? The one that can truly transform their approach?
Excellent question, Emma, really. It's not just about positive vibes, though that certainly helps, of course. No, the crucial shift, the absolute game changer, is moving from a quick buck mentality to a long-term value creation perspective. You see, most people, especially newcomers, they're chasing the immediate commission. They want to snag that easy win, and they bounce from one trending product to another without really building anything sustainable. They're like digital nomads with no real home, if you catch my drift. It's not about fleeting trends.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. A lot of folks just like jumping on the latest TikTok trend product, promoting it for a week, and then poof, it's gone. And then they're like, affiliate marketing doesn't work, when really they just didn't have the right approach from the start.
Exactly. And that leads to what I call the shiny object syndrome, doesn't it? It's a huge problem, especially in this industry, where there's always something new popping up. You're constantly distracted, constantly looking for the next big thing, instead of focusing on what you've started, on the foundation you're actually trying to lay. And the thing is, well, true sustainable affiliate success, it isn't about that at all. It's about understanding that you're building an asset, a real business, something that serves a specific audience consistently, providing genuine value. It's not a sprint, it's definitely a marathon, a really long, strategic one. And that mindset shift from instant gratification to patient, strategic building, it changes everything.
Oh man, the shiny object syndrome is so real. I feel like I've fallen prey to that more times than I care to admit, especially when I first started out, or even when I get a bit stuck now. Like, oh, this new AI tool looks amazing. I should totally promote that and forget about what I was working on. And then a week later, I'm on to something else, and it's a never-ending cycle of half-finished projects. So, if we're trying to ditch that, James, how do we actually, do it? What's a practical way to really force yourself to focus on the long term, on that big picture, when everything around you is screaming for your attention right now? It's tough.
Right. It's definitely tricky, isn't it? The key, I think, is to develop a deep understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. Not just the what or the how, but the why. When you truly internalize that you're not just selling a product for a commission, you're solving a genuine problem for a specific group of people, that shifts your focus entirely. You start thinking about how to serve them better, how to truly help them, not just how to make a quick buck from them. It becomes about building trust, building authority, and, a loyal community around that solution. That takes time and patience, and that's the mindset we're trying to cultivate.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. It's like aligning your intentions with your actions. If your why is strong enough, it pulls you away from all those distractions. So once we've truly nailed that long-term value-driven mindset, then what? Are we finally ready to think about finding the perfect niche? Because that's another area where I think a lot of people just go wildly off track.
Absolutely, Emma, precisely. Once you've got that long-term, value-driven mindset squared away, once you're truly prepared to build something substantial, then and only then are you really ready to think about niche discovery. Because, well, a lot of people approach niche discovery all wrong, don't they? It's a common pitfall. They look at keyword volumes or what's trending on social media or what's got high commissions, the usual metrics. But that's just scratching the surface, and frankly, it often leads you straight into fiercely competitive waters.
What we're talking about here is what I call empathy-driven niche discovery. It's a profound shift in perspective, moving past just numbers and algorithms.
Ooh, empathy-driven. I really like the sound of that, James. It already sounds a lot more like human, doesn't it? And less like just spreadsheets and SEO tools. But what does that actually mean in practice? Because, it's one thing to say be empathetic. Everyone thinks they are, right? But how do you apply that to finding a truly profitable affiliate niche? Are we talking about trying to feel what your audience feels, or is there a more concrete approach to it that our listeners can actually use? Because I think a lot of our listeners might be like, okay, I get it, but what next? Show me the steps.
Absolutely. It's about deeply understanding the pain points, the frustrations, the unmet needs of a specific group of people. Not just what they search for in Google, but what keeps them up at night. What problems are they actually trying to solve, beyond the surface level stuff that everyone else is targeting? For instance, someone might search for best blender, right? That's a product search. But their real pain point might be, I'm super busy, I want to make healthy meals fast, but my current blender is just too loud, a nightmare to clean, and it clogs up constantly. See the difference there? That's empathy. It's getting into their head, walking in their shoes, understanding their world. And that process, it leads you to genuinely valuable, often less competitive niches, because you're addressing a real problem that others are missing.
Yeah, I totally see the difference now. It's like peeling back the layers to get to the real emotional need, not just the functional need. So this deeper understanding, this empathy, does that naturally lead us to those smaller, more overlooked niches then?
And that deep empathy, Emma, it naturally guides you towards these often overlooked segments of the market. This is where we start talking about micro niches, which are just really fantastic for new affiliates because the competition is often much lower. Most people, they instinctively go for the broad competitive stuff. Weight loss, make money online, dating advice, right? And look, there's nothing inherently wrong with those topics in themselves, but they're so incredibly saturated, aren't they? The competition is fierce, and it's incredibly hard to stand out, especially when you're just starting out. The real gold, the sustainable gold, is often found in the very specific, almost hyper-focused subsegments of those broader niches. It's like finding a small stream that feeds into a massive river.
Okay, micro niches. I think I get the concept, James, but how micro are we talking here? Give me an example because I think it's really hard for people to visualize that without a concrete illustration. Like if weight loss is broad, what would a micro niche within that even look like? And how do you even find something that specific without it being so tiny that there's no audience left to serve? That's always my worry with going too niche, you know? You don't want to pick something so obscure that it's, well, dead on arrival.
Right, that's a totally valid and important concern, Emma. You absolutely want it specific enough to be less competitive, but broad enough to have a viable, engaged audience. So instead of just weight loss, maybe it's weight loss strategies for busy single parents over 40 who struggle with meal prep due to lack of time. Or, instead of make money online, it could be freelance graphic design side hustles specifically for college students living in small towns with limited job opportunities. Do you see? It's about adding those specific qualifiers, those little details that narrow it down. It's not just yoga mats, it's eco-friendly, non-slip yoga mats for advanced practitioners with chronic knee pain.
It clarifies who you're serving and what specific problem you're solving for them. The audience might be numerically smaller, yes, but they're highly engaged and desperately looking for solutions tailored to their unique situation. They're ready to buy because you're speaking directly to their needs.
Yeah, okay, that clarifies it a lot. It's like you're not just casting a wide net and hoping to catch something. You're specifically targeting a particular kind of fish that you know is in that pond. And I guess if you can really speak to that specific problem, even if the audience is smaller, they're going to be so much more receptive and loyal, right?
Precisely, Emma. That's exactly it. They feel understood, and that's invaluable. Now, once we understand the power of micro-niches and the absolute necessity of approaching them with empathy, the next big question becomes, how do we actually find them? How do we, uncover those hidden gems that everyone else is just, overlooking or ignoring because they're too busy chasing the big, obvious keywords?
This is where we ditch the standard keyword research tools, at least for the initial discovery phase, and we go really unconventional, because frankly, the conventional methods will lead you to conventional, competitive niches. We want that edge, don't we?
Oh, I'm all ears for unconventional, James, because I feel like everyone's using the same tools, looking at the same data, and then boom, you've got thousands of people all trying to rank for the exact same thing, all trying to grab that same piece of pie. It's just, it's exhausting to compete in that environment. So what are some of these, secret techniques, these less traveled paths? Where do you even start looking for these super specific pain points and these underserved audiences that everyone else is missing? I'm genuinely curious here. Give me the goods.
Right. So instead of just keyword tools, think about where people openly complain, where they vent their frustrations, or where they actively ask for help without being prompted. Think forums, right? Reddit, for example, is an absolute goldmine for this. It's not just for memes and cat videos. It's full of real discussions. On Reddit, you find subreddits related to broader niches, let's say home improvement or personal finance, and then just read. Seriously, just spend time reading. See what people are consistently asking about, what frustrations they express time and time again, what specific solutions they're looking for that don't seem to exist or aren't being adequately addressed by current offerings. You're looking for recurring themes, for patterns in their problems.
Wow, that's such a brilliant way to think about it. Like going directly to where people are already, pouring their hearts out about their problems and their needs instead of waiting for them to type it into a search bar. I mean, Reddit especially is it's notorious for that. You could spend hours just reading through threads and seeing real, authentic struggles. It's like crowdsourcing your market research, but completely free and unfiltered.
Exactly. It's like having a direct line to your potential audience's deepest thoughts. And it doesn't stop at Reddit either. There are other incredible sources for this kind of direct from the source insight, if you know where to look,
Same thing with Amazon reviews. Don't just look at the 5-star reviews, those are great, but they don't tell you about unmet needs. Look at 2-star and 3-star reviews for products. People aren't necessarily hating the product outright, they're often pointing out gaps in the market or specific unmet needs. You'll see comments like, "This product is great, but I wish it also did X." That "but" is often your niche, That's where the real opportunity lies. Or YouTube comments, right? People will go off on tangents, express frustrations, or ask incredibly specific follow-up questions in the comment sections of videos related to their problems. These are raw, unfiltered insights, absolute gold mines of real human problems that people are genuinely trying to solve.
Wow. That's like being a detective, isn't it? Just like sniffing around for clues where people are already talking and sharing their honest opinions and frustrations. And the Amazon reviews thing, that's really smart. I never thought to focus on the middling reviews like that. That's a total game changer for how I've thought about market research. It's so much more authentic than just looking at aggregated data, I mean.
It really is, Emma. We're essentially listening to the market's raw, unfiltered voice directly from the source, directly from the people who actually have the problems. And that whole process of listening to those raw, unfiltered voices, it leads us perfectly into what I call the problem-first approach. This is another crucial mindset shift, really. Most affiliates, they start with a product. They see a product on an affiliate network, they think, oh, this looks good, high commission, I'll promote this everywhere. But that's backwards, isn't it? That's letting the product dictate your strategy. You should always start with a really acute, specific problem that people are actively experiencing and are already seeking solutions for. The product, the specific thing you promote, it comes later. It's the solution, not the starting point.
Okay, so problem first, not product first. I think I get what you're saying, James, but can you clarify the distinction a bit more for me? Because, often the problem is intrinsically tied to a product in people's minds, right? Like, my old blender broke. I desperately need a new blender to make my morning smoothie. How do you decouple that in your thinking to make sure you're truly problem first and not just, subtly product focused? It feels like a fine line, honestly.
Good point. It really does feel like a fine line, doesn't it? But it's a critical distinction. It's about digging deeper than the surface-level symptom. The broken blender isn't the real problem. That's just the immediate symptom. The real underlying problem is I need to make healthy, nutritious smoothies quickly and quietly every morning because I'm a busy parent and my current breakfast routine is unsustainable and too loud, waking up the kids. See? That's a much richer, more emotional problem. The product, the specific blender, is a potential solution to that deeper, more emotional problem. By focusing on the problem first, you're not constrained by what products exist right now or by one specific brand. You're thinking about the fundamental need. And often, when you define the need clearly enough, you'll find there are multiple products or even information products or services that can address it. This also makes you incredibly adaptable. If a specific product goes out of fashion or gets discontinued, your audience's core problem, well, it very likely persists, doesn't it? You become a problem solver, not just a seller of a specific widget.
Right. So you're building a solution hub, James, not just a product storefront. That makes so much more sense. It's like a more robust and future-proof way of thinking about it, because you're tied to the need, not the commodity. I really like that approach. It feels much more sustainable long-term.
Exactly. Now, once you've identified a potential micro-niche using our unconventional methods, trawling through forums and reviews, really listening, and you've approached it with a problem-first mindset, there's one more crucial step before you commit too much.
Before you invest any significant time or money into building out content or a website, you absolutely need to validate that this niche actually has legs, right? You need to make sure there's genuine, active demand for a solution to this specific problem. And the beautiful thing is, you can do this without spending a single dime. This is crucial for avoiding wasted effort and, that gut-wrenching feeling of realizing you've built something nobody wants after months of hard work.
Oh, that's a huge one, James, because I feel like so many people just dive headfirst into something, spend months on it, create a whole load of content, and then realize, oh, oops, nobody actually cares about this specific thing, or I got the problem slightly wrong. That's a total buzzkill and a waste of precious time and energy. So what are some of these free validation techniques? How do you test the waters with actually launching a whole campaign or, setting up an expensive ad buy that might flop?
Exactly. So first, go back to those forums and communities you found, Reddit, Facebook groups, whatever it is. Don't just read, engage, become part of the conversation, ask genuine questions, post a poll, or even just a conversation starter. For instance,
Hey everyone, I'm thinking about X problem. For example, struggling with eco-friendly yoga mats for knee pain. What are your biggest challenges with it? What solutions have you tried that haven't quite worked? Listen to the response. Do people resonate? Are they actively looking for more help or advice? That's your first strong signal of demand.
Second, look at existing content, even if it's tangential. Are there some articles or videos, even if they're not perfectly tailored to your micro niche, that address aspects of your core problem? If so, look at the comments section. What are people saying there? What specific questions are still unanswered? Is there demand for more specific content on that topic, that exact angle you're thinking of? Also, simple Google searches, but with a twist. Don't just search for products. Are there books on Amazon covering aspects of this problem? Even if there aren't perfect affiliate products yet, if people are buying books about it, well, there's a problem there, and they're willing to pay for solutions, aren't they? You're looking for signs of active, desperate need, Emma, not just casual interest, but a deep-seated pain they want solved.
Wow, that's like being a detective, isn't it? Just like sniffing around for clues where people are already talking and spending money, even if it's just on an ebook or a self-published guide. That's really, really clever and totally free, which is just fantastic for anyone starting out on a budget. I love that approach. It's so practical and actionable.
It absolutely is. It's about working smarter, not harder, especially in the early stages. And so, Emma, when you bring all of this together, that crucial long-term value creation mindset, the empathy-driven, problem-first approach to finding those often overlooked micro-niches, and then, diligently validating them smartly without spending a fortune, you're not just building a temporary affiliate hustle, you're building a truly sustainable, ethical business, something robust and lasting. This isn't about one-off commissions anymore, you see. It's about creating an asset that genuinely serves a defined audience over time, consistently. It's a fundamental shift, and it's where the true stability comes from.
So it's not just about finding the niche and then just like turning out content then, James. It's about seeing the bigger picture for that niche. Like, how do you nurture it and grow it, ethically, as the series title says, and for the long haul? What's the ultimate goal or vision once you've found that sweet spot and validated it? What does success really look like here, beyond just making a few sales?
Precisely. The ultimate goal is to become the absolute go-to trusted resource for that specific problem within your chosen micro-niche. You're building trust, you're building genuine authority, positioning yourself as the expert guide, the person they turn to for solutions. And that foundational trust and authority, it allows for ethical scaling. You're not just pushing random products to hit a quota, you're thoughtfully recommending the best solutions because you genuinely understand your audience's unique needs and pains, because you've listened so carefully to them. It feels right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it totally does. It's like becoming a trusted advisor, not just a marketer. That makes so much sense.
And that trust means you can then diversify your income streams. You might start purely with affiliate products, but then you could introduce your own digital products, perhaps, or even specialized services down the line. Once you've seen those recurring problems, you're building a community, an engaged audience that trusts your recommendations implicitly, without question. And that's where the true alchemy happens, isn't it? Where your efforts compound and you create something genuinely impactful and truly lasting, something that gives back. That's the real transformation, moving from a temporary hustle to a thriving, respected business.
Yeah, I totally get it, James. Like, it's not just about the transaction, but the relationship you build with your audience. That's so much more powerful and clearly more sustainable than chasing trends. What a fantastic way to look at it, James. A really solid foundation for anyone wanting to build a real affiliate business, something they can be proud of, actually.
Couldn't agree more, Emma. And that's exactly what we're aiming for with Affiliate Alchemy, isn't it? To help our listeners find that unique